Hey, how's it going? This is Christian Frazier, certified life, health, and nutrition coach. And I wanted to talk to us today about relationship communications. First, I want us all to realize that we have areas that we can improve in our communications with our significant others. And I hope that you learn something or pick up a few tips today that will help to enhance your relationship, enhance your intimacy, and create a long-lasting relationship. Let's start with a little story about myself. A couple of decades ago, I was working for AT&T and I worked for GE. And I was selling to CEOs and executives at Fortune 500 and Fortune 50 companies. So it was very important that we understood the people that we were selling to. So both companies made me take the DISC personality profile test, and I scored with a D and a high I. And both personality profile tests, typically, once you take them, it's going to be the same no matter where you go. And when I took one at my real estate firm, again, about almost 20 years ago, the broker said, man, I've never seen anybody score this high. And it really helps companies to determine if you're the right fit for certain types of jobs and roles. But it is also good to learn so that you can understand the person on the opposite side of the table of who you were talking to. For example, if I was talking to somebody in the DISC personality profile that was an S or C type, then I know when I'm talking to them that I want to explain everything that we're doing in the contract, and I want to go line by line and make sure that all of their questions are answered, because they do not like somebody to go over it real fast and move on to the next thing. But if I was talking to somebody who had a D or an I type personality, that person or that type of person wants to get the information, move on so they can move on to the next task. So what I had to learn how to do is to find out who the person was on the other side of the table and then mirror their style of communication in order to better or more effectively communicate with them. Now, when I took the course, the last course that I took, the instructor told me, he said, look, this is not just something that you use in business. This is something that you can use in your personal lives as well. And the light went off in my head, and it really has been useful tool that I have used ever since. So there's a couple of different personality profile tests out there. There's the DISC personality profile test. There is the MBTI personality profile test. And there's also the love languages personality test. I highly recommend that you and your partner take those tests to find out more about yourself, to become more self-aware, also to learn their communication style so that you can better or more effectively communicate with them. Offer a word of caution when you're using the personality profile testing. Don't be defined by the results only. Use it as a reference guide for yourself and also for your partner so that you can understand your own communication styles and their communication styles, but don't be rigid and defined by it. Great communication is a key ingredient to a successful and long-term relationship. On the other end, miscommunication offers missed opportunities for intimacy and trust to enhance the relationship and build the relationship. So understanding your partner's communication style not only assists in building trust and intimacy, but is also helpful in learning how to effectively communicate to resolve any type of conflict, arguments. So knowing what to say and what to do, when you're in the middle of an argument or the middle of some type of conflict can really help to resolve that conflict and move on to the next stage of happiness. Understanding our partner's communication style allows us to peel back the layers of the onion. So you don't get stuck like in a situation where you're 2, 3, 4 years into a relationship and you're still on the first layer. And then you find out that this person is really a different person than you thought when you met them originally. So, start the deeper, communications and thought processes earlier on, because that will really help you to assist and make sure that you're not making the wrong decision, because we've all been there 1, 2, 3 years later to find out that we ended up with the wrong person. It's very important to be honest and vulnerable in our communications with someone that we love, our significant others, to be able to tell them our deepest secrets, desires, and goals, and trust them enough to hold on to that and to keep it close, safe, and secure is a wonderful and amazing feeling. But some of that comes over time. You have to build up some of that trust. And you have to also ensure that you and your significant other have the same values as far as trust is concerned. I'll give you an example. I was dating someone and I asked, "What's your definition of trust?" Their reply was, "Well, you have to build trust, and like maybe over 2 years, you've built up enough trust, for me to trust you completely." And that definition of trust was different than my definition of trust. And my definition of trust is immediately established, once we meet. And of course, we have opportunities for our trust to grow because we give limited trust. But if I had to wait 2 years for you to build up the trust, and guess what? I didn't wait around for that 2 years for the trust to be built up. And it was a lot of issues. So, you have to make sure that you and your significant other are on the same page as far as trust. And that's where the communications come in. I think that it's not only important that we talk about our unmet needs, our baggage from our previous relationships, trauma that may have happened in our childhood or previous relationships. And we should talk about some of our triggers that make us go into, a frenzy, that get us angry, that get us upset, and talk about how we can, work through those triggers. Those are important, pieces of communication that we should be having with our significant others. And then also we should be talking about the things that, can help us, how we can support each other. Like, if you're depressed, what can I do to help bring you back up? Or if you're angry, what can I help do to soothe you back down, so that we can continue to support each other and push each other to be the best versions of ourselves. It's important to be open and honest in your communications. And sometimes people don't really understand, and even the smallest of things. For example, an ex bought me a shirt, and it really wasn't the type of shirt that I like to wear. But we were new in a relationship. They didn't know. So instead of just letting that shirt sit in the closet and then 6 months later causing a conflict, "Why haven't you worn the shirt that I bought you?" I simply explained that, "Oh, that was a great gesture. Thank you so much for purchasing this shirt. It's not really my style. So why don't we just make an afternoon and go back to the store and pick out something that I really want and grab some lunch or something to eat, and make it a pleasant experience. And then the next time I'm going to get the type of shirt that I want." Same thing with dinner. I would get a call. "Hey, we're having this for dinner." "Oh my, I can't stand it. It's disgusting." "No. Oh, thanks for giving me a heads up. I'm going to pick something up on the way." It's all about how you communicate. And sometimes the energy, our body language and eyes are not matching up to what's coming out of our mouth. So we have to be very important, because sometimes the energy that we're giving is not the same energy that's coming out of our mouth. And we have to be very careful with that, because sometimes we're beating the person up, with our body language and the energy, and we're saying something totally different. So I just want us to be cautious of that. I want us to be careful of that. And I want us to be very self-aware of that. How we manage our energy during times of stress is really going to determine how our relationship is either going to enhance or fall apart. Now, for the purposes of this video, we're going to talk about turtle energy and tiger energy. Turtle energy during times of conflict will typically resort or pull into its shell. Tiger energy, on the other hand, during times of conflict, will pursue. Now, in order for us to have effective communications, we need to find some type of balance between the two forms of communications. So during times of conflict, what we suggest the turtle type or the turtle light, if that's you, then instead of going into your shell during times of conflict, we ask that you take a step forward towards the tiger. And the opposite, the tiger, instead of pursuing, we ask that you take a step back. And once you find balance, the tiger is saying, hey, tortoise, you're not abandoning me. And then the tortoise is saying, hey, tiger, I don't feel attacked. And we find balance because you have different types of energy within our relationships. Because typically or subconsciously, we are attracted to different types of energy. We're looking for somebody that's actually going to help us with our baggage, unpacking our baggage. And we also see something in that other person that we feel that they're going to help us meet our unmet needs. Now, there are some communications methods and strategies that I'm not going to get into today, but I want to leave this final tip. When we're communicating with our significant others, we want to make sure that we stay present. Sometimes there's a lot of distractions in our lives, whether it be text messages, social media, television, children, family members, work, whatever it may be, that causes distractions and you not to be focused on the communication. It gives you an opportunity for miscommunication, and again, miss opportunities to enhance your intimacy and grow your relationship. Again, thanks for listening. I hope something was said or done that will encourage you to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for tuning in. Again, this is Christian Frazier. Have a great day.